Well, positive sentiment continued to trail the equities market despite the fast approaching election. At intraday, the index was up 0.43%. Let's bring in Temple now to give us an update. Good afternoon, Temple. Bring us up to speed with today's trading activities.
Well, you've already given a hint of what we've actually been experiencing. The bullish sentiment continues to grow in the market days ahead of the 2019 general elections, which is scheduled for just the 16th of February there. And then we're seeing a whole lot of interest across sectors in the market. Some days you see them on the banking names and the consumer goods. The next day you see them on the industrial goods and, of course, a bit in the insurance and oil and gas sectors. It keeps going across, but this week so far we've seen a lot of interest in the banking names, especially the financial services in general, whether the insurance side of things or the banking names. And this has continued to grow. In early trades, we saw Guarantee Trust Bank and Zenith Bank both doing some huge volumes in the market. They continued to rise, in minutes after minutes in the system. And of course, if you look a bit at the insurance segment, you see a name like Sunwa Assurance in early trades was able to rise some 5%. So this sentiment is positive. It's coming from those, from both the domestic and foreign investors. We're seeing this interest at this point in time. At about now, we've seen some huge volume in total done so far. The indices is up some 0.43%, and it's still growing. We've also seen that Forte Oil has gained some 10%. Forte Oil is in the oil and gas segment of the market, and it's the the topmost gainer so far today. We've also seen Unity Bank also rising. Unity Bank for more than a week now hasn't risen at all in terms of share price. But all of a sudden, we saw it on offer toward the close of the market yesterday. And when the market opened today, we saw some investors taking advantage of that particular offer. So right now, it's gained some 9.76%. But generally, the interest at this point in time cuts across the banking names, doing some 1.45% in terms of its indices. And of course, the industrial goods segment of the market, which has gained some 0.29%. Chimeze.
Now, we have seen the primary market gain some traction in recent times. Update us on the latest developments, and are we likely to see this trend continue through the year?
Yeah, absolutely, Chimeze. We've seen a whole lot of interest as the year 2019 opened. We started seeing a lot of interest in the primary market activities. Let me begin from the latest, which is the one of Consolidated Hallmark Insurance. We saw a placement which was announced 2 days ago to the Nigerian Stock Exchange, talking about some 1.1 billion ordinary shares of 50 kobo each, offered at 65 kobo, and has now been listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That's one. The other one is the 90 billion naira rights issue of Lafarge Wapco, which was concluded sometimes in January. And of course, that was the second one for that particular cement maker in 1 year. Now, the third is that of Skyway Aviation. That is what is popularly known as SACO. SACO IPO held some 406 million ordinary shares of that company, is to be listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Of course, we know there was a bit of an extension on the IPO, the initial public offering of that particular company, up to from September to 9th of January when it ended. So we're expecting that to become officially listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange any moment from now. So these sentiments that we're seeing kind of shows some kind of interest from a lot of people, a lot of investors, domestic investors, and of course foreign investors. The foreign interest is still here with us in spite of the election that is here. We don't know why, but we understand that there is a bit of mitigation of how the uncertainties, the risk that the election may pose to the system, and that's why their confidence is there. So, but then going forward, a lot of analysts have talked about the fact that we should see more primary market activities going forward around Nikon Insurance, which is yet to come. Again, the Bureau of Public Enterprise is trying to bring a lot of the public entities to the market. We also know of the insurance segment of the market. In terms of insurance sector, a lot of them are still trying to raise capital to be able to meet their obligations, for the insurance market, which is really, really low and really untapped in this system. So MTN is also there, and it is something that analysts at Vetiva Capital are really positive about, that they will come to the market eventually. So if you put all of this together, you'll be expecting a whole lot of companies to come to the market via the primary activators, just like Indorama Eleme Petrochemical in Rivers State is also likely to get listed this year, Chimeze.
Okay, we look forward to that, Temple. Thank you. And finally, Uganda's central bank has retained its benchmark interest rate at 10% for a second time, saying risks to the inflation outlook over a 12-month period remain elevated. The Monetary Policy Committee left the rate unchanged, even as projected economic growth momentum faces risks, including weather-related constraints to agricultural production and challenges relating to the financing of public investment programs. The central bank projects economic expansion of 6.3% in 2018-2019, underpinned by an accommodative monetary policy stance and public sector investment. The policymaker at the Bank of Uganda surprisingly raised the rate by 100 basis points at their October meeting, the first increase in 3 years. They left the rate unchanged at the subsequent meeting in December. And that's it on the show. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi. You're welcome.